everyone, this is your good fashion and you're welcome to my channel. Can you see this two lovely gown with turtleneck? Don't worry, I got this tutorial. Just give it a thumbs up, share, and please subscribe. Thank you very much. Tutorial. Oh, the measurement I will use, I'll be using it from shoulder to nipple point is 12, from shoulder to under bust is 16, from shoulder to half length is 19. Sorry. Then the circumference of the bust is 42. Circumference of the under bust is 36. Circumference of the half length is 37. Then the length of the gown is 42.5. Well, I'll be using 43 and I will approximate to 43. Then the shoulder is 15. It doesn't have sleeves, so I'm not going to call the sleeve length. But I'm going to use the nipple to nipple. So the nipple to nipple here is 8.5. And I don't really need the hip measurement. So what I will do now is I'll fold my fabric. The down part, I'm going to cut it in paper, and this face is going to be 180 degree, not 360 degree. So now I've folded my fabric into two like so. Then I'll pick the joint part like this and place it on it. You can see the way I did it from this joint part. Making fabric. Then I'll measure out because I'm cutting both front and back now. So I'll measure the length. I will subtract the the gown length, the half length from the gown length. So the half length is 19 inches and the gown length is 43. I said I will use 43. So it will be 43 minus 19, which will give me 24 inches. So now I'll chop out my 24. I'll still cut out this rough edge. That's why I'm not starting from there. So this is my 24. But because it's still going to have two on top of it, so I will not add any seam allowance to this. Instead, the tool is still going to be like few inches after the 1.5 or 2 inches above this measurement. So instead of using the 24, let me use 23. So I will add the inch to the tool. So now I will use 23 for this. Then I'll come up here and measure what I have here. This is 13.5. So I will chop around the 13.5 and check whether it's the same with my half length measurement. Although this is going to be more than my half length measurement, the half length is 37. Then I will add seam allowance, zipper allowance rather, of 2 inches, which will give me 39 inches. So what I need now is 39 inches. So 39, I folded my fabric into 4, so I need 39 divided by 4 will give me 9.75 or so. And this one is like 11 inches, so I don't need up to this. I'll just draw my fabric back, then go again. I'll come up here again and measure what I have here. I have 13.5, so I'll go around with this 13.5. Then measure the circumference I have here as well. So now I have 9.8, which will give me 9.8 times 4 will give me that 39 that I needed. So now the next thing is to come to the peak again and measure around. This is 37. I have 37 here. Then I'll go around with that 37 inches. I'll just connect the line. Then cut it out. cutting it, I will notch the middle part. So the next thing I will do now is to chop out where the tool is going to stay on it. So from this down part, I'll start from here. It's 3 steps. I mean, it's 4 steps rather. So I'll start from here. What I have, the total I have here is 23. Then I want this part to be like 4 inches step. Then the remaining will serve as the down part, because that down part is very long. So now I'll use from here to here, I'll use 4 inches. Then from here to this point, I'll use 4 inches. Here as well, I'll use 4 inches. Then this remaining part, like, let me measure the inches I have left. I have like not up to 11 inches, few inches to 11 inches. So this is where the down part is going to start from, and it's going to end like 1 inch above this, below this rather. So now I'm going to go around with this 4 inches and chop it around so that I can know where I'm going to put my tool. Let's chop it around. I'll do likewise for this. When this one is 8 inches now, I'll go around with that 8 inches. So I'll do likewise for here as well. So I'll do likewise for the other side. I'm going to use. So after I'm done chalking out all these points, what I will do now is measure from here. You know, I said it's going to be like 1.5 inches below this. So now I have 11 inches, 11.2 inches here. So I'll add 1.5 inches. Let me just say I'm using like 13 inches. Plus this level, I'm using like 13 inches. So I'll cut out the 13 inches from these two, then add half inch for this seam allowance, the one I'm going to sew on this line. So that will be 13.5 inches I'm going to cut out of this two. That's for the last step. So for this second step, for this third step, seam is going to be on top of the last step. So I'll measure 10 inches for that. So it's going to start from here, then I'll add my half inch allowance on it. So when this one is on this lane, this will be on top of it here, and this other one too, I'm going to cut 10 inches for that one too. So this will be on top of here, and the first one, so I'll cut 10 inches. So I'll cut it and show you anyways. Now I've cut all my two. This one is the one that will be The last one, the down one, that's 13.5 inches. This one is 10 inches. That's for the second step. 10 inches again, and the third step, the first step. So now, what I will do now is to go and stitch it. I'll stitch them accordingly on my doll face. Then I will show you. For the front bodies, I'm going to fold my now this one now. I want to cut both front and back together. I'm not going to cut them separately. So this is how I'm going to go about it. So I folded my fabric into equal parts. Then I'll go this way. So I'm leaving small inches up at the front. I'm leaving like 1.5 inches. That will serve as my zipper allowance. 1.5 inch. You can see. So now this is where I'm going to use for the front, but for the middle part. Then this will serve as the side. So what I will do now is I'll measure the upper the nipple point. That's 12 inches. Then the under bust, because that style is going to have a band at the waist. So I'm using 16.5 inch. Yes, then I'll add seam allowance. So I'm using like 2.5 inch for the band. So I'm adding 0.5 inch for the seam allowance. So the measurement for the under bust, the real measurement is 16, but where I want the band to start from is 16.5. Then I'm adding extra 0.5 inch for the seam allowance. So what I will do now is, after doing this, I will rule the lines out. Then I'll come here at the nipple point to measure the circumference of my nipple point, and the circumference there is 42. So 42 divided by 4 is, my fabric is into 4. The 42 divided by 4 will be 10.5. Then plus 2 inch seam allowance, that's 12.5 inches. Then on the under bust, the circumference there is 36. So 36 divided by 4 will give me 9. Then with seam allowance of 2 inches, then I'll connect the lines like so. Then here, I'll come here and measure the shoulder circumference. That's 15 inches divided by 2 will give me 7.5. So from there, I'll measure 7 inches for the armhole. So I'll connect it. Please note there is not going to be sleeve on this. So now I'm going to measure 4.5 inches out of that 7.5. Then at this middle, the angle, I'll measure 1 inch inside. Then I'll connect it to the armhole. Then the measurement I have here, 12.5, I'll transfer it here, 12.5. Then add 1 inch to it for the slant. So I'm using all the fabric anyways. So I'll cut it out. So now I'm going to measure 2.5 inches for the neckline. So you can see I'm starting from the front body, the joint part. So I'll measure 2.5 inches. Then I'll come down with 1 inch. That's because I'm cutting both front and back together. Then here, I'll measure 1 inch and slant it to the neckline and the shoulder. So now, after that, I will notch my zipper allowance out so I don't make mistake. Then the next thing I will do is, so because of how the neckline is like alter neck, but because there's no rope there, I'm going to make it a form of turtleneck. So now, this is the shoulder. So I'm going to trim off this side. I've cut it out. So from the armhole, I'll just slant it to the neckline. So I've trimmed it out. So then, the next thing I'll do is to remove front from back. to do the neckline of the front. So I'll come down by 2.5 inches for the front, link it to the neck. So then I will put my dart. The nipple point is 8.5, so I will measure 8.5 divided into 2. Here to 8.5 divided into 2. Then on this through, I'll measure 5.5. So I'll just put that here as well, so as not to be opening the bust of my line. I'm going to do that here. I'm going to do that here as well. So down back, that's what layer. And then the third one. So I want to show the second step now. Second layer. So I have 2 of this together. I folded the one I cut it. Now. Gathering it small because I want to use free hand. I don't want to cross sew it in the machine and draw the strings. Which the first step, second step, third step, and the fourth step, like I explained earlier. So the next one, I've sewn the upper bodice as well. Now I said I'm going to put my dart. This is the back body. I've sewn the tools on it. These are the lining I'm going to use. Then I attach my paper stay as well. So this is for the second back, and this is for the front body. So I put that here and here as well, so that it will hold firm at the armhole. So after doing all this, now I said I'm going to use band of 3 inches. So this is the band, this for the front, and this for the back. I'm going to divide this back hole into 2, since the back is in 2 pieces. So I will divide both into 2, and these are the linings I'm going to use for them. Then this is the alternate. This is the band I'm going to use for the alternate. The alternate inches, the neck is 19 inches. The total circumference of the neck is 19 inches. So I'll just strip off the excess that I have here. So from that 19, I'll add 1 inch seam allowance, making 20. So I will notch the middle. Then this one is still going to be folded into 2, so which means I'm still going to open this middle part. I will open it up. Then I will gather my net as well. You know, there is still net at the upper part. So I will gather my net, my tool rather. I'll gather it at the neck side. So when I'm through with the gathering, I will show you. I've gathered the tool I said I'm going to, you can see. So after gathering it, you know, I got the middle of this. So I'm having like 1 inch left. So I'm going to use this to turn. I'm going to use this as facing to turn this other one. So when I'm done, I will show you. Now, this is the neckline. So this is the 19 inches I said earlier. That's plus the zipper allowance. You can see 19 inches. So now I've sewn the 19 inches I have there. Now I said I'm going to use them to turn each other. So I've done that. Now, because I'm going to use facing, I have facing for, I have lining for this, so I'll just sew it round like so, then use my lining to turn it. Now I've sewn the turtleneck with the neckline, like so. Then the next thing again, I'll join my my lining together. But before I stitch the lining to it, I want to join the band to this separately. I'll join my band. So to do that, I'll join the fabric to the tulle and the band. So now for the lining, I'll do likewise for the lining as well. I'll join for the lining for the front side, and I'll do the same for the back side. I'll attach the band to the main bodice. So the next thing I'll do is I've done likewise for the lining. So I'll just sew the lining around the neckline.